Welcome to the first episode of Golden Years, Driving Fears, the Retesting Conversation.
Have you ever used a crosswalk? Taken a walk through your neighborhood? Even walked into the grocery store? If you said yes to any of these, congratulations! You qualify as a pedestrian. Now, do you ever feel nervous about engaging in these activities? Your safety lies in drivers' hands, on whether they can see properly, pay attention, and react in time, which can all change with aging. So what do you think? Should the elderly drivers with these potential changes be retested for safety? I found that many pedestrians, whether they drive or not, agree that there are in fact elderly drivers who should not be driving, but say the same can apply to anyone. On the Reddit post, Elderly People Driving, that asks, I'm just curious to get people's thoughts on whether the elderly should drive. If not, what is your solution to the issue, and at what point should they have to give up driving? Some commenters, who are required by the group to have been born before 1980, agree that there are bad drivers of all ages on the road, and a common talking point seemed to actually lean towards younger drivers. The first comment under the post says, I don't drive, but as a pedestrian, more often than not, it's older drivers who stop at zebra crossings and are more courteous. Anytime I've been at the receiving end of aggressive drivers, they're almost always young. This person also includes that they believe every driver should have to be retested for their license every 5 years, and clarifies that their perspective is coming from the UK. This comment brings a unique perspective to the typical American situation, not only because the commenter is from the UK, but they also don't drive, whereas in the United States it's very common for anyone over the age of 16 to have a driver's license and even their own car. Not driving also brings a deeper connection to the pedestrian-driver relationship because their opinion is derived directly from pedestrian-driver interactions. In this comment, they mention that they believe everyone should get retested every 5 years, regardless of their age. This made me curious as to what the current requirements are in the UK, where a quick Google search informed me that drivers over the age of 70 need to renew their license every 3 years and complete a self-assessment form. However, there is no required retesting or medical assessment. So should the US adjust to become more like the UK? What would happen if everyone had to retest every 5 years? Would there be less drivers on the United States roads? Well, there's another comment that replies to the first on Reddit and brings these driving opinions and questions a little closer to home. Darn_near70 says, I'm in Southern California, USA. In recent years, we've acquired many drivers who drive as fast as they possibly can without flying off the road on the curves. These aren't old drivers. They're the young who think cars are toys. There are plenty of people on the streets who shouldn't have licenses to drive. This commenter later edited to add, you won't find people over 50 spinning their wheels in parking lots and areas beside the roads. This has also become common in this area, and pedestrians and the many homeless are in danger. This comment is important because it brings the conversation to the US, but the mentioning of pedestrian safety at the end is really what makes the comment relevant in our episode. This commenter is making the claim that young drivers are the only ones putting those on the side of the roads in danger. But is this an issue only with young drivers? Where it seems that young drivers are careless, elderly drivers may simply be losing the motor skills that enable them to see, react, and drive safely. The last comment under this Reddit post that I wanted to share comes from CMC Rich. CMC Rich says, my mother is 89 years old. She had to renew her license last November, had to retake the road test due to her age. She passed with flying colors. Her vision is very good, and she is sharp as a tack. My dad, while also sharp, can't drive anymore due to macular degeneration, so it's up to my mom. I rode with her recently, and have to admit she does very well. It's not necessarily an age thing. This commenter's parents show 2 different places on the aging spectrum. It's awesome that an almost 90-year-old woman is out driving perfectly safe and healthily, and she is able to keep her license. However, it was noticed that the commenter's father was victim to some aging changes that affect his ability to drive safely, and now he's unable to drive, which is the way many people believe the system should work. Those Reddit posts that I've shared are only a fraction of the wide variety of opinions and experiences that pedestrians have with elderly drivers. All of these comments and posts led me to wonder if statistics matched these Reddit users' arguments and opinions, or any other opinion from these stakeholders. While I struggled to find specific statistics of drivers' age in collision with pedestrians, I did find some other interesting data about pedestrian fatalities. A lot of statistics about pedestrian fatalities are not actually what most people would expect. In an online data workbook by NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, it is recorded that a majority of pedestrians' fatalities occur in urban areas at dark hours and are occurring more in the fall and winter. Another big factor was that 75% of fatalities do not occur at an intersection. Connections that come to mind when discussing pedestrians and drivers often occur in crosswalks and intersections, which is not the case. 75% of fatalities occur specifically at sections of the roads that don't have intersections. So are pedestrians at fault for the problem? With issues occurring in dark hours, that also begs the question of how elderly drivers' abilities are affected by the lack of vision or reaction time. Are the elderly even out driving at these times of night? Using this source made me realize just how many factors go into the wide variety of possible driving scenarios and connections to pedestrians. So, as a pedestrian, where do you lay on this spectrum of opinions? And should the elderly even be retested at all? Don't get too comfortable with your answer before you listen to the rest of the season. There's a lot more information you may not have thought about. Tune in for our next episode to hear micro-representing officers' stakes on the matter.